am seriously considering running for president as a centrist independent. And I wanted to clarify the word independent, which I view merely as a designation on the ballot.
Don't help elect Trump, you egotistical billionaire.
Well, first off, I respect Mike Bloomberg, but he's not the proxy for what's going to happen in 2020. And if he would have run in 2016, he might be the president today. He probably regrets that. But what did I see? What I see is for the last 3, 4, 5 presidential elections, only 8 to 10 battleground states have pretty much controlled and predicted who was going to be president. What if the possibility of an independent person could capture the imagination of the 42% people who affiliate themselves as an independent, which is more than either party? And what if Republicans and Democrats, lifelong, are looking for a home? They're not going to vote for a left-wing Elizabeth Warren, Kamala Harris candidate. They don't want to re-elect Donald Trump. But what if there's a new person? And what if for the first time in 40 years, a 50-state in which I'm on every ballot really matters, and instead of 8 to 10 battleground states controlling who's going to be president, everyone's vote, all 50 states. I think Republicans are looking for a home. And if Republicans have a choice between a far-left, liberal, progressive candidate on the Democratic side or President Trump is going to get reelected. If I can get in the race and I only need 15% to be on the debate stage, I will provide the Republicans with a choice that they do not have. In addition to that, I think we have a situation which we must agree with. I mean, every American is looking at the fact that we have such toxicity. You're going to have Senator Flake on in a little while. Talk to him about what it's like to be a centrist person and trying to govern from the middle. It's impossible. Unions are not the answer. The answer to inequality is a comprehensive tax reform. I was outraged when President Trump gave a free ride to corporations of a 21% tax rate. That was wrong, especially wrong when we did nothing to help the people who needed it most. So we need comprehensive tax reform.
Capital gains?
Yeah. I think everything has to be looked at in a fair way to once and for all narrow the gap for inequality.
So you were opposed to the Trump tax cut?
100%. Okay. I was public about that, and I said it was going to be fool's gold and a sugar high. I must be doing something right to garner this much attention and this much interest. But let's look at the facts. The country and the American people are longing for and deserve leadership that they can trust and a government that is working for them. That clearly has not been the case. And what I have offered the American people is simply an opportunity to hear my story and to provide an opportunity for the American people to say, we don't have to have two parties. There can be another choice. And in doing so, all 50 states, not just battleground states, can matter for the first time.
That Howard Schultz doesn't have the guts to run for president. Watched him on 60 Minutes last night, and I agree with him that he is not the smartest person. Besides, America already has that, and I only hope that Starbucks is still paying me their rent in Trump Tower. One, how do you respond? And if it is you versus
he hasn't heard of the
Donald Trump
clause.
Yeah, how are you successful against that?
Yeah, I'm not responding to that childish behavior. I think this is a time in America for complete reimagination, and what I'm going to try and do is go out to the American people and ignite a powerful movement. And I believe, not people in New York, not people in D.C., I'm hearing from thousands of American people, thousands saying, finally, someone's voice that I can relate to that represents the fact that I no longer feel as if I'm a Republican or Democrat.
That's what they said about Trump. Finally, someone's voice I can relate to.
Well, I'm not Donald Trump. I mean, I've run a public company for 26 years, and in doing so, gave people real value. I'm embarrassed, ashamed. I think what occurred was reprehensible at every single level. I think I take it very personally, as everyone in our company does, and we're committed to making it right. The announcement we made yesterday about closing our stores, 8,000 stores closed, to do significant training with our people is just the beginning of what we will do to transform the way we do business and educate our people on unconscious bias.
And it will cost you millions of dollars, too.
Oh, it will cost millions of dollars, but I've always viewed this and things like this as not an expense, but an investment in our people and our company.
The system is stacked against anybody trying to run as an independent. What state could you get electoral votes from in a winner-take-all primaries?
Not only is it stacked, but the Republican, the DNC and the RNC do everything humanly possible to prevent an independent person from running. That's un-American. That's not right. But
you can't beat the system, can you?
Well, I think I can beat the system if I decide to run. We will be on the ballot in every state, all 50 states. And this is so vitally important. In the last presidential elections, the only thing that mattered was about 8 states, battleground states, that defined the race. If I enter the race, I'll be on the ballot of every state, and all 50 states, everyone's vote, everyone's voice would matter. It would be a 50-state race, and I would be...
What are you seeing in terms of wage increases? Are you seeing a tighter labor market today?
Well, I think with unemployment now less than 5%, there certainly is a tightening with regard to available people. But as a result of the values and benefits that Starbucks has been offering, free college tuition, things of that nature, I think people want to work for a company whose purpose and cause is something they can relate to. It's not only about wages, it's about being part of something larger than themselves. Starbucks is now currently employing 350,000 people worldwide, almost 200,000 people in the U.S. Our attrition rate is lower than any other retailer in our industry because of the kind of relationship we have with our employees. And we've always said that the equity of the Starbucks brand is defined by the relationship and trust we have with our people, and that is what has built the company. Well, you just played Senator Harris is saying she wants to abolish the insurance industry. That's not correct. That's not American. What's next? What industry are we going to abolish next? The coffee industry? I mean, the Republicans want to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. I don't agree with that. The Affordable Care Act should stay and it should be refined. But to think we should get rid of the insurance industry, again, this is exactly the situation. It's far too extremes on both sides, and the silent majority of America does not have a voice.
It sounds more and more like you are running for something. Are you going to run for president in 2020, Howard?
No, I'm not. Here we are sitting at Starbucks because of my day job as executive chairman. On the heels of opening the most successful Starbucks store in our history in China, now we're opening reserve stores. I'm trying to do everything I can to benefit our shareholders as executive chairman. And I think as a private citizen, very concerned about doing everything I can to elevate the national conversation to things that are not based on ideology, but really trying to walk in the shoes of the American people and doing everything I possibly can to try and get some real, I think, sensible levels of conversation that represent both sides and reach a compromise on things that are really important for the future of the nation. What we have is a void of leadership, a void of trust, no dignity, no honor, no respect in the Oval Office and in government today. And what I think I can bring is a level of servant leadership that I have acquired over almost 40 years, and what I've learned along the way, and that is sharing success with people, bringing people along with me. We've built a global business in 77 countries. It's not the success I've enjoyed at Starbucks, it's the leadership that I have been able to create. And I think understanding with great compassion and empathy all different kinds of people. Having government experience, I think, is not a disqualifier. I think what the qualifier is, can you bring the country together? Can you lead people? And I think, can we restore a sense of values and compassion and empathy back into the American spirit and our standing in the world?
Why do you think Medicare for All, in your words, is not American?
It's not that it's not American, it's unaffordable. So let me be very clear.
Because you called it not American.
Healthcare has been central to my entire life. We've just talked about that. The first company in America to provide comprehensive health insurance to part-time people. I know a lot about this issue. It's deeply in my heart. Now, what I believe is that every American has the right to affordable health care as a statement. I also believe that the Affordable Care Act under President Obama was the right thing to do to provide over 30 million people who did not have insurance to get insurance. But now that we look back on it, the premiums have skyrocketed, and we need to go back to the Affordable Care Act, refine it, and fix it. In addition to that, we need corporations to have more skin in the game. We talked about that earlier, And we must have self-interest and the lobbying efforts of the pharmaceutical companies come to the table with a level of transparency to lower the cost of prescription drugs. I think the most important thing facing the country right now is not the issue of abortion or the cultural issues that divide us. The most important thing facing the country right now is answering the question in the affirmative, and that is, do we believe that our children and our grandchildren are going to have a better life than we do? And most Americans today believe that is not the case, and that is unacceptable to me. So I want to do everything I can to restore a sense of financial security and a real belief in the promise of the country.
You'd be great in the cabinet.
No. But
Howard, your proceeds are going where to the book?
well, when I grew up in Canarsie, there was no public library. We had bookmobiles. So the proceeds are going to bookmobiles in impoverished neighborhoods around Brooklyn.
Roughly 11 million undocumented immigrants currently in this country, not just the Dreamers.
Yeah.
What would you do?
First off, I agree with the Republicans completely that we need strict, stiff border security.
But not a wall.
Not with a wall, which is insanity. So I agree. I also agree with the Republicans, not the Democrats, that ICE has a major role to play in this. But Republicans want to strip mothers from babies and put kids in internment camps. I don't agree with that. I think it's un-American for the Dreamers not to have a pathway to citizenship. Not many people have recognized the fact that this could have turned into something much, much worse. That they acted in a very passive way, and thank God for that.
They were very calm and cooperative, yes.
Yes. So what we have tried to do with the two young men, and Kevin has met with them, is ask them, what can Starbucks, given our resources and the capabilities we have, they have an interest in real estate, what can we do to help advise them and support their own business endeavors? And I think what will come out of this is that given the resources that we do have, that we will provide them with a foundation of learning and provide them with an opportunity to be part of our company either directly or indirectly as a result of this situation. And I think the truth of the matter is that every one of us has a different life experience. And that different life experience, unfortunately, produces a level of bias or unconscious bias about what we feel as people.